am not here to sell you on this. I am here to share my absolutely honest take on it. I've never reviewed anything like this on my channel. I never really thought I would buy into anything like this. Now that I've tried it, I've been testing the HigherDOSE PEMF pulse electromagnetic field mat, say that 10 times fast, for over 6 months. And I am not somebody who puts butter in my coffee. I'm not a self-proclaimed biohacker. I don't cold plunge. I don't plan on cold plunging, but I did spend almost actually it was 700 because of tax, $700 on the PEMF, or what I'm calling PEMF mat. And I've been using it for 6 months, and I wanted to share my experience with you so you know whether or not you should throw down that amount of money. I really, really did not expect these results. It has a 30-day return window. I thought I was going to return it within the first month. Let's dive into it. This is not sponsored. No one's paying me to say the following. I purchased this product. I'm going to share 5 things that I think are going to help you have a better idea of whether or not to buy this or try something else. This is the speedy version. I go very in-depth back on the styleshaker.com. I have tons of sources and medical sources, PubMed. I nerded out. But I'm not an expert. I still did too much research on this, but I wanted you to have actual sources that back up or don't back up the marketing claims on here, because there are so many claims. First up, what you get inside, you get a lovely little mat. It folds. You can travel with it. I'm not traveling with it. It's heavy. You can put it on a chair and do your work. You can put it on the ground. You can put it on a bed. It's very easy. And again, it's a little bit heavy and clunky, but you get that. You get a carrying mat. You get a little remote control. The frequency range for this is 3 hertz to 23 hertz, which is on the narrower side. And if you're going to look at other mats on the market, they call them grounding mats. They call them biomats. There's so many out there. And eventually I will do a comparison. But like I said, it was $700. So I'm not like buying all these things all the time. But anyway, it's on the lower end, but I've learned that more is not always better. So I'll talk about that. And there is a shopping comparison on the site. Next, how it works. I'm going to give you the high level so you don't get bogged down. It's 3-in-1. It sends low frequency electromagnetic waves through the mat and into your body, and it's supposed to help healing processes. It's supposed to help cellular function. I mean, again, the claims are all over. There is actual real peer-reviewed research on PEMF technology. You have to look at the context of it and how it's being used, but it is out there. And essentially your body is supposed to match the frequency. You have 4 frequency. Number 1 is delta. Number 2 is theta. Then you have alpha for calm focus. And then you have beta. I usually stuck with 1. I tried 2, which is theta. And in my experience, it just made me feel a little too groggy, but that's just me. I do theta meditations all the time. So I love theta meditations. I have for years, honestly. But number 1, delta was my jam. It was my happy place. The second thing that this offers is far infrared heat. There's near, there's far, wherever you are. It is adjustable up to 158 degrees. I love a heating pad. I hate when they go cool too quickly, but I love a heating pad. I really, really do. This is a different kind of heat. It is not a surface heat. It's a deeper penetrating heat. This is where you help with circulation. This is where you're supposed to get all these benefits for muscle recovery and things like that. So you have your frequency, you have your heat. The heat part, infrared, has a lot of solid research behind it too, so I'm happy about that. The third is where we get a little bit woo, and I'm not anti that, but you're going to get pushback. There's side eye if you're going to spend close to $1,000 on a mat that makes claims like this. So I get it. I'm with you. The third is the crystal technology. It's just healing crystals. So you have amethyst and you have tourmaline. They also hold heat really well. So this sucker gets warm. It goes up to 158 degrees. I'll talk more about things to watch out for there, by the way. But the crystals do hold the heat, so that's kind of cool. These are supposed to emit negative ions. There's strong research on negative ions. If you've walked Siesta Key Beach, which I have in Florida, then it's like It's like nature's Prozac. You're very lifted with your mood. Everything's great. Of course, like if you walk any beach, you're probably going to feel good if you like beaches. If you don't like beaches, it's going to be a very different story. But there's negative ion research. There's just not as much on healing crystals. I have crystals. I like them. So you do you, but yes, the first two probably have a little bit more science behind them. And then you have the crystals, hence the 3-in-1 in the mat. Okay, this is going to get a little technical, but it's worth noting because there's pushback on this out there comparing this to different mats. And yet nobody really talks about it. So the PEMF intensity on this mat runs at 0.2 to 0.8 mgs or milligauss. I should really look at how you say that. Anyway, 0.2 to 0.8. There was a meta-analysis. I know, I'm going there. But 92 peer-reviewed studies talked about seeing actual cellular responses to PEMF technology, but it was at levels 10,000 to 100,000 times higher. So the argument there could be that, this is, you're getting it home and it's doing like poo for the PEMF. And if you were to go to the big dog, you would actually see the results because it's much stronger in terms of what it can offer you with frequency. I just sort of distilled that down into something I can understand because, like, really, a little magnet tester, and the gist of it is you can see when the frequency goes on and off, it starts vibrating. In the HigherDOSE mat, you're getting it right in the middle of the mat. So that's 2 cores. And this is the Go mat. It might be a little bit different on the full size mat. By the way, I didn't really feel like I was missing anything with having this size mat compared to the full size, but I don't have a lot of lower leg issues and I could move my body if I did. So anyway, back to the magnet. The tester magnet vibrates right here. We have it on PEMF level 5. Rows of crystals here. See first row, second row, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Ninth. Crossing. Further out we go. Vibrations stop. Frequencies are coming through these 3. That leaves the rest of the mat open. This is the main core of frequency that's going to hit your lower back. It's already much warmer. Now, on other mats, you might have 6 core zones. But when I looked into it further, what I noticed was, this is my understanding, I'm not an expert, but the mat is going to meet you where you're at and hopefully take you to a different vibration or frequency. If it's going into your body, is having a fire hose versus, I don't know, like a small trickle going to make the biggest difference? I talk about it more on the website, but where I got was no. And also, from a personal note, subjective note, I don't need the fire hose. I was looking at using this mat mostly for stress reduction and absolutely for loosening muscles because I hate taking baths. So I love the heated element of it. Beyond that, I really wasn't looking for pinpoint specific healing or issues that I have maybe with bone or joint. Then I would go to a professional. So other mats claim to have more power, more juice, more cores, more things. And I think it depends on what you're looking for. But I also don't think like blasting the body based off of the research that I've found. I don't think that that is better for the results that I wanted to see. So how I use this, it's really simple. I ended up using this at 3 to 4 o'clock every day. I started the first couple of weeks. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this in the middle of the day when I used to get coffee. I need a reset. I need a refresh. And I would just go to the mat. You open it up, you plug it in. The plug into the mat, I don't really take it out, but it's a little bit sticky. It's kind of annoying. You gotta like shove it in there. But once you do that, you just plug it into the wall and you lay down. I tried putting a pillow, didn't work, screwed up my neck a little bit. You can try a towel, you can try whatever you want, but I was just flat on the floor. I did wear clothing. I had a sweatshirt on usually. It was during winter. And I still have a shirt on. And then I have a thin yoga blanket that I put in between myself and the mat. Why? Because I like it to be hot. I started at 5. My friend who turned me on to this mat told me that's like crazy hot. I didn't mind it. I like, boiling hot showers, which is terrible for your skin. I would keep it at 5 and then I would turn it down to 3 or 2 because those crystals hold it. In terms of time, I said, okay, if I can do 15 minutes, I'd lay down and I would, no screens, no noise, no nothing. And I stayed on that thing for 30 minutes. I stayed on it for 45 minutes. I could not get off the mat. So I end up on average spending 30 minutes on the mat. And I do this every day because I look forward to it every day. Caveat here, this is also supposed to aid with sleep. A lot of people like to use it on the bed before they go to sleep. So 30 minutes to an hour. I'm not spending an hour on the mat before I go to bed. But I'm going to test that out. I have pretty good sleep hygiene. I sleep pretty well. So I'm going to see if this can improve that. But for me, it was like this middle of the day kind of push. I would come out of it. Sometimes I'd fall asleep, sometimes I wouldn't. But I kept it at Delta the whole time. I tried Theta, felt weird, went back to Delta. I think if I did Theta, I could do it for 5 minutes, maybe work my way up. But I really did feel it. And yeah, I would just keep it at 1. I'd sit back up. I just felt rested in a way that I haven't felt rested in a while. Could it have been the heat? Sure. Could it have been placebo? For sure. Could it have been the fact that I haven't really sat and done absolutely nothing? No devices, no nothing, on my own and just listening to like a thunderstorm rolling by or a bird chirping in the distance? Yeah, it's going to help my nervous system either way. So all of that is free. You can just sit on a couch on a heating pad for sure and see if that helps you. But for me, there was something deeply, deeply relaxing that I have never really experienced until I did yoga and like we're talking shavasana relaxing. A different vibe, but that kind of like, oh, it was just really cool. I didn't expect it. Last two things in terms of results. Does it help with pain management for me? I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. So I have aches and pains. I do cardio, I strength train. I actually, the impetus for this outside of relieving stress and things like that, I had been strength training 3 to 4 days a week for 2 years, and everything just started to feel very tight. And I had stretched a little bit, but I was not evenly prioritizing recovery and rest in a way that was satisfying to my body with the strengthening. So I was just taking, and I really wasn't giving back. Nutrition, sure. Sleep, yeah. My nervous system needed as much attention as my muscles needed. So I was like weight training for my muscles, and this is sort of weight training for my nervous system. And I'm not going to tell you it really got rid of the soreness faster than before. It didn't for me. It really didn't. I wasn't weight training as hard, but even just like little soreness in my lower back or whatever, I hold all my tension in between my shoulder blades. What it did was loosen everything. My muscles were loosey goosey, and I felt like more mobility as a result of that heat, that deeper penetrating heat. So it loosened the muscles, but I wouldn't say that this is something I would buy if I really needed acute pain management. The heat can change pain signals. There's a really interesting study about that. Again, look into the study, look into the context of it. Was it done on humans? Was it done in vitro? It all matters. And nobody wants to take the time to look at the studies, hence why I'm here summarizing it for you. But the moral of the story here is, for me, pain management wasn't the best part of it, although I think it really did help me loosen muscles that needed to not be like tight. Arthritis pain, I don't know. I don't have it, luckily. Injury recovery, I don't know. I don't have a big injury right now. So if you've used this and you've experienced positives or negatives, let me know in the comments. By the way, I reserve comments for subscribers that have been here for at least a week. So just keep in mind, if you're trying to comment and you're like, I can't comment, that's why. The last result I want to talk about, and again, I've touched on this already, is the stress reduction and how that made me feel. This was incredible for that. Now, is this taken away all of my sadness and anxiousness and nervousness? No. No, it's not even like you take a nap. Sometimes I wake up from naps and I'm just like very cranky. I don't take naps all the time. Okay. I wish I could, but I don't. But I just love them. Stress relief was very noticeable. I think it's the strong suit. and I have yet to experience anything that has given me that amount of relaxation in that short of time. The first couple of minutes, even in the beginning, I was like, this is total BS. This is not going to work. 5 minutes in, 7 minutes in, there's a different type of calm that I get from laying on this mat, and it's wonderful and I love it. There's also some really interesting research about suggesting that it can affect HRV. That's a very popular thing right now that people are looking into. And then the other benefit of this was, I can't tell you before November the last time that I would just sit with no music. I'm not saying music isn't phenomenal, but no like agenda, no meditation to do, no thinking about other stuff or my to-do list. It just it reminded me of what I used to do a lot as a kid. I was very into sitting, staring out the window, listening. I would listen to music sometimes, and sometimes I wouldn't. I would just, when you didn't have screens, it's a different time. And I remembered. That's it. I remembered what that's like. So that could lead you to conclude, like, okay, I'm just going to get a heating pad and I'm going to sit and see if I can do it. But I also clearly did not experience that relaxation just sitting. There was something about the deep infrared, there was something about the PEMF, and maybe there was something about the crystals and the negative ions. I don't know. My verdict on this mat, do I think it was worth it? Yeah, I really do. Did I expect to tell you that? No. Most of the time I say on this channel that I want to like these things. I don't know, there was a part of me that was just, maybe it was the years in the Bay Area, just watching all that biohacker stuff go on. A part of me was a little bit of a cynic at the beginning of this, and by the end of it, my friends, my family member, anybody that's close to me, they know not to call during mat time. If I call or they call me or I pick up at the end of it, I'm like, I'm on the mat. They're like, oh boy, how you feeling? Everybody knows now that this is a part of my day. Sometimes I only have 5 minutes. Sometimes I only have 15. I always want to lay on the mat for 30 minutes. I never want to get up. I never get antsy. I don't know what I've connected with here, but it feels like I'm talking to my 7-year-old self. That's like, oh my God, finally. I don't know what all these screen things are, but this is what we've been wanting to do. You finally grew up and you figured out that you just need to sit there and relax a little bit. And with everything going on right now, I couldn't have picked a better time to get this mat, if you know what I mean. Again, I am not here to sell you on this. I am here to share my absolutely honest take on it. I've never reviewed anything like this on my channel. I never really thought I would buy into anything like this, but now that I've tried it, the whole world is open. I'm like, what can I try next? I would like to do a comparison actually between this mat, maybe some other mats, maybe some panels. I'm into it. If you want to keep seeing more honest reviews and you want to figure out a way to support the channel, and you want to see me talking about stuff more, then you can do so by liking this video, go back to the Style Shaker, check out the full scorecard. There's details in there that you can't find here. I also have a whole list of my favorites over there as well. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, do hit that like button, hype it, share with your friends. And if you've tried this, let me know in the comments. Thanks for being here. And now you know about PEMF mats. Talk to you later.